What's up, nail geeks? I'm coming in with another new release for you guys. I'm actually squeezing this one in as the pre-order is currently going on through Femme Fatale. I am showing you guys the Valtat collection and the Fiend of the Month and the Color of the Month for October. The pre-order is going to go on for the next few days, and these will be available through stockists. So I apologize for my tardiness, but let's dive right in. First up is Tulip Pierre. This is on pre-order for 13 Australian and is described as a pale blush pink cream with soft golden flakes throughout. So this has a wonderful, smooth, creamy-like formula, and for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. Now, I personally took it up to 2 coats and I thought it covered very well. It plumps out very nice and it has a borderline crelly-like feel on application in that it plumps up wonderfully at that second coat, as you can see here. Now, I do feel like the video is being pretty color accurate, at least on my monitors here, that this is a lovely soft type of pink and those gold flakes are so cute against it. Now, this does dry down very flat, so I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat to finish it off. And next we have Liliaceae. This is going to be 14 Australian and described as a sheer, vibrant magenta jelly with red to green shifting iridescent flakes. So this is definitely a jelly-like formula. It does apply quite opaque on the nail, and for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. This one does build up quite quickly on the nail, and there is those lovely iridescent flakes. Now, because of the overall strong pigment used in this one, the flakes take on this lovely type of almost coppery-like effect, but at angles you can see that there is a green shift to them. Now, this one also dries down quite a bit on the flat side, so I'm going to suggest a very good glossy top coat to really get those flakes to pop. And next we have Rembrandt Tulips. This is 1450 Australian. This is described as a clear when warm to coral orange when cold thermal with a strong violet glow that leans in the warm state to look pearlized. This is also filled with magenta metallic micro glitters. So we have a really fun thermal. Now, I do think because of that pearly type of shimmer in this one, the warm state definitely takes on this almost flirting with being a very soft type of white. It is on the more milky side, so when your nails are completely warm, you might see just a touch of your visible nail line. So if that bugs you, I would suggest a color correcting base color, but I thought this one was absolutely stunning on its own. Even with the slight bit of visible nail line showing on the warm state, it's just real soft, so it allows that shimmery-like effect to really take over everything. Now, I had no problems in terms of getting those glitters on my nails from the bottle. Per usual, I shake the bottles real good before applying, and you can see here I had really nice payoff with them. Now, this also dries down very, very flat, which is again characteristic of thermals. So I would suggest a good glossy top coat to get this one to just plump out real nicely. And Apple Dorn is 13 Australian and is described as a strong candy red cream base with a hint of orange tones filled with soft gray flakes. This one's really lovely on that formula. It's very smooth and very creamy on the nail. This is typically what I'm going for when it comes to cream type of polishes and not so crelly-like. So for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. However, I personally found that 2 coats was just perfect on it. It self-levels very nicely as you are applying and very forgiving type of formula. So this one does dry down kind of semi-flat, but again, I'm still going to suggest a good glossy top coat and you'll get that nice gel-like appearance when you are finished. And Ollie Lewis is 14 Australian and is described as a sheer coral pink base with strong green, blue, purple shifting duochrome sheen. You guys are going to really tear into me on my pronunciations for these names. I do apologize about that. This one has a very somewhat crelly-like formula. It does have quite a bit of a jelly-like feel on the overall application. and it is a softer shade, so I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats depending on how prominent your free edge is. This is a very flattering type shade, even though it's very warm in terms of the base color and the shimmer. I thought it popped very well against my skin tone, which of course is very warm toned itself. So here on that third coat, you can see it's really starting to build up very nicely, and the shimmer is very strong in person. It does have this really lovely orangey, almost gold type of appearance in indoor lighting with a lovely purple shift at extreme angles. And Spring Bloom is $12.50 Australian and is a gorgeous tangerine cream base with neon pink micro glitters in it. So this has a very similar formula to that previous one that I showed you guys. It's very smooth, very easy to build up to opacity. And again, 2 to 3 coats is going to be just fine for most. I personally think that 2 coats on this one is just fine. Now it does definitely dry down quite a bit on the flat side, as you can see between that first and second coat. So finishing off with a glossy top coat will get you that nice gel-like appearance. Wonderful, very nice self-leveling formula. So the base color on this one definitely has a true tangerine-like feel. On my monitor, it is leaning pretty color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. It's very lovely. In case it gets skewed, I would imagine this might take on a bit of a more red type of undertone to it. So please note this is definitely a true tangerine orange. Now I did take it up to that third coat here. I was being a little bit extra and I wanted to see what that third coat would look like. But honestly, looking back at the video here, I think that is just a touch of overkill. And finally, we have Wild Collected. This is $12.50 Australian and is described as a bright teal cream base with neon yellow micro glitters within. So it's super interesting. The Southern Hemisphere, our friends over in Australia, are actually going into their springtime, and Sophie, the maker of Femme Fatale, said she wanted to make a super bright and playful type of color palette from this collection, and I think it is absolutely wonderful. It's just really bright and in your face, nice springy type of colors. And with their formulas being so cream type of base, it definitely is a lovely palette cleanser. Now for Wild Collected, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats for opacity. It does build up very nicely on the nail. And again, we have that strong self-leveling factor. My monitors are showing this pretty color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. It is definitely a true bright type of teal. And here in the final hand shot, I do have a glossy top coat on, and you can see just how lovely it appears. And we also have the color of the month. This is Crystallum Orbis and is $12.50. This is a bright berry pink crelly with red metallic micro glitters in assorted sizes. So this one has a creamy-like feel on application, but I do feel like this is more of a crelly and that it does slightly behave like a jelly, and it has just a touch of a squish factor to it. So for opacity, again, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. You can see between my coats that it definitely dries down quite a bit on the flat side. So again, a good glossy top coat is going to be perfect to seal this one up. It's got that really nice juicy like feel after you use a glossy top coat. So it self-levels very well, very smooth type of formula to it. And you can see here on my full hand shot that it's got that just real lovely jello-esque like feeling to it. And finally, we have the Fiend of the Month. This is only available to the Facebook Fiend members. This is Nebula Storm and is described as a bright, almost neon pink when warm to cool-toned deep purple when cold, thermal, with red to green iridescent micro glitters in assorted sizes. So this is super stunning in person. I really loved it. When I finished swatching it, I took my hand away from my lighting area and I just marveled at it. Really perfect cold state. That color is gorgeous, and the warm state is also a lovely type of flattering pink. I really dug the iridescent flakes in this one. They don't necessarily leave the polish very thirsty in terms of glitters, but you're going to want to use a good glossy top coat with this one to seal it up and get that really juicy like effect, that super jelly-esque look on your nails. So for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. Again, really going to depend on how prominent your free edge is and how you apply and all that good stuff. But Overall, the temperature sensitivity on this one is very reactive, as you can see on that first hand shot there. And then going in with the ice water, you can see that cold state is so stinking pretty. And the warm state is just really contrasting against it. And I really liked how the iridescent glitters appeared in the cold state too. Now, these are currently on pre-order right now through Femme Fatale's site. You can grab the full Valtat collection for $86.50 Australian, which is basically on sale from $93.50. I will link you guys below to that. Now, keep in mind the color of the month is also available too during this pre-order. And Nebula Storm, if you're wanting that last one, definitely join the Facebook fan group. I'll link you guys below to that, and there will be instructions in there on how you can also grab this one too. Now, in terms of stockists, the Valtat collection and the color of the month should be going to stockists as they order them, which so far in my experience, Butometry is definitely one of them. So keep an eye on them for when they're going to do their pre-order for these if you are in the US or you wanted to order outside of that pre-order window. I'll link all of this below for you guys. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.